Hello there, everybody. My name is AB, and this is my Dirty Laundry Diary. Thank you so much for joining me today. I very much appreciate it. And hopefully you've listened to other episodes and you enjoyed those. That's the vibe for this week. I did let myself sleep in today, which feels great but also awful because I feel like I could sleep a lot more. But you kind of hit a wall where you can't sleep anymore. Yeah. What else happened this week? Ripped my pants at work. Full on. It was not like even like a thigh blowout. No, cheek. Cheek was out. So. The worst part about it too is I was eating a donut while it happened. I took a bite of the donut, sat down in my chair at my desk, and I just and I was like, no, please God, no. No, and I set the donut down and I put my hand back there and I was like, oh, that's my drawers. So and that happened Wednesday. And Wednesday was the kind of day where like everything was going wrong. My breakfast didn't slap and the walk to work was awful and like my computer kept crashing at work, so I had to keep getting rebooted by IT and I ripped my pants. And it's a day where like in previous times would have sent me into like a spiral, crash out, fairly valid. But all I could do was just like laugh and be like, can you please give me a break? Universe? Anyone out there? So growth, progress, something, I don't know. It was overall just a kind of weak. Still haven't heard back from the programs I've applied for. The one specifically I'm supposed to hear back from this month. Which fills me with a sense of dread, to be frank. Yeah. But other than that, honestly, not a bad week. I read Everything is Tuberculosis by John Green, and that, is that a good read? Recommend it very much, if anyone would be interested in that. I also finally finished the books that I talked about a couple episodes ago that my therapist gave me. The Wonder of Colors, by Bridget Watson Payne, was good. It was kind of cute. I'm purple, in case anyone was wondering, if you've read that or will. And then Get Over It, The Realist Guide to Stress Management. Sometimes, for me, the most annoying thing is realizing that, like, this is the thing that you're doing is because of stress. It was talking about in there. It mentions how a lot of the time for people, decluttering is a very big sign of stress. I just thought that was quirky. Apparently not. I thought I was just being like manic pixie dream girl. No. I just can't control anything about life, so then I take control of something, which is decluttering and cleaning. I say that as someone who, not last night, but the night before, Friday night, deep cleaned and decluttered my bathroom. Because I have makeup and I had perfumes from like middle school that had changed colors and I still had them up there. There was like bottles of lotion that I was like, oh, I'm going to clean these to recycle them. Been up there for months. So I finally was like, we're knuckling down and we're doing it. And half the makeup that I was like, I don't wear this anymore. My mom took. Another bunch my sister is going to take. I think next will be clothes. But if I'm going through my closet and getting rid of clothes, that's a cry for help. To be very honest. I love my clothes. I love shoes. I love clothes, jewelry. And I have lots and lots of fun earrings. I don't really wear them to work. I usually wear them when I'm out and about on the town with some friends. or like a lot of the clothes that I love to wear are not business casual, appropriate attire. So I love my clothes because my clothes are an extension of me and are a very great way to express myself. So if I'm going through clothes and getting rid of them, that means I'm down bad. There's something in my brain that I need to work through. Like, is it To All the Boys I Loved Before? Yeah, where she's like down bad, so she's cleaning her room. That's me. I'm very Lara Jean. Very Lara Jean coded. To some extent. Also, you may have heard me move this tin. I have been very into cinnamon mints. I go through phases of different kind of mints that I enjoy, and I was on whatever the like light blue Altoid is for months now, and I'm finally transitioning back into cinnamon mints. So I have a tin of cinnamon mints next to me, which those were my favorite as a child, actually, were the cinnamon ones, specifically the Altoid ones. And I have many memories of just, I'll eat them like they're candy, and eating them in the car with my one grandfather. And he was like, you have the addicted tendencies of your father, because I've never seen someone put Altoids back like that. What can I say? It's an acquired talent. With that being said, I hope that your week was good. If it wasn't, I'm proud of you for getting through it. If it was good, heck yeah. Tell us all about it. Let us know. If it wasn't good, let us know. It's all right. Sometimes it's really good to talk about things, which is what this episode is about. The title of this episode is Sometimes You Just Gotta Tell Them That They Suck. What? Yeah, I know. That's crazy. You're not supposed to be telling people things, negative things. You have to. Sometimes you have to. Sometimes you have to sit your mother down at a diner you grew up going to your whole life, look her in the eye, and I say eye because I have a lazy eye, so I can only look at one, and say, Mother, I love you. I'm very grateful for all you've done for me, but you really messed me up as a kid. These are things that I live with and I carry on my shoulders, and I don't bring them up because I don't want to make you upset, but I can't keep carrying this weight. So now I'm putting it out there. And that's what I did yesterday. This past 2 weeks, usually around the holiday time, a lot of stuff from my childhood that I tend to suppress is brought back up. Isn't that fun? And past couple of weeks, I've been really struggling with things that my mother did. Now, my dad sucks. Super abusive, loved drugs more than his family. Insane individual, frankly. He's even now. You look at him and you're like, yeah, you've definitely done hard drugs and you have the personality to boot it. Not even in a comical sense. I'm quirky, I'm funny. I'm oh, you've definitely, you were mentally ill. And if you told me that you tried a hard drug, wouldn't be surprising. I'm speaking of myself. I'm not clarifying. But that kind of vibe. My dad is very much oh, you've done hard drugs and they have caused damage. Because he'll just say the most insane things. I shouldn't be talking so badly about him, but is my right. I've earned it, maybe. I don't know. Or I'm going to hell. Already going anyways. So, for me, my dad, I can tell him the stuff that he did that messed me up as a kid. And I'm like, yep, this is what you did. And he's like, yep, I did that. And I'm like, great, cool. How do I move on from this? And we'll talk about different things in that realm of ways to get over things and move on with things. Because he himself has some stuff that he's had to get over. And now he's doing great. He's sober, clean. He takes care of my niece. He's remarried. He lost 180 pounds, I think. Crazy, because he's always been A lot of the time when addicts are portrayed in media, they're very, very skinny. And that is something that can happen, but my dad was never skinny. And one time I was talking to this is when we were young, like middle school. I was talking to a friend of mine about how my dad was a drug addict, and he goes, "But your dad's fat." And that's why I'm laughing. That is just that specific conversation just of course that's when you have when you're in middle school. Anyways, so when I talk about stuff like that my mom did that messed me up, because my mom is also just not someone that should have had kids, and I've had that conversation with her and she agrees. She's very grateful she had children and she wouldn't replace it, but she was not equipped to be a motherly person. And that has to do with her upbringing and generational trauma, and the cycle keeps repeating. And I was just born. Why do I have this weight on my shoulders? Anyways, I don't like to bring up the things that my mom did that messed me up, because she's the parent that stayed. She was the unknowingly single mother who worked 3 to 5 jobs at a time to keep us above water, and who took care of 2 kids who were not her own. And gosh, she used to have it because my 2 eldest sisters, who are technically my half sisters, they're 15 and 14 years older than me. So when they were in high school, I was a baby. So my mom would, because my dad, he wasn't even there for when I was born. He showed up like I think the 3rd day, and he officially left when I was 9 months old. So I was just literally a baby. And so my mom, she kind of realized, oh, my siblings, my oldest siblings, are part of a ragtag group where like their parents kick them out all the time, and they're quote unquote troubled. If I'll let them stay at my house rent free, as long as they watch my tiny children, so I can keep working like a dog. And it worked. So back to the thing. I don't like bringing up things that my mom did that messed me up. I don't like talking to her about them because I feel guilty. Because it makes me feel like I'm ungrateful or a bad child. Does that also does that also have to do with my upbringing and what I was told as a child? Yeah. Ugh. But it's weighing on me, and I can't be stuck at that station looking at this broken down train. I can't do it. I gotta fix the train and let it go on to the next station, because I can't have this weight on my shoulders anymore. I'm not doing it. I got dreams to be dreaming. I got a life to be living. I got goals to be accomplishing. I got people I still haven't met yet. And I'm not going to be able to get there with this weight on my shoulders, this blockage. So I got to let it go. So I sat my mom down at a diner, and I told her about the messed up things that she did or said to me as a kid that I still carry the weight of. And she apologized, which is great. I didn't do it for an apology. It's nice that she did. But she paused for a minute. And I was like, shoot, did I just make my mother cry in this diner over her chicken sandwich? No, I didn't. But she paused and she goes, I think by the time you were born, I realized I didn't have anyone else besides my children. And I knew that with your other siblings, they were kids, but for you were more of someone I relied on as a confidant, which isn't fair to you. You were my child. And it was very weird to hear my mother admit that. Because that's how my mom and I are. We're mother and daughter, biologically, in the familial sense. But we don't have a mother-daughter relationship. I don't think of her as my mother. I think of her as like a really close friend. And in the same way, like my dad, I don't think of him as my dad. I think of him, my biological dad, I should say. I don't think of him as my dad. I think of him as like an acquaintance, honestly. And like my father figure that passed away, I called him dad. I was like, yeah, that's my dad. I would tell people that is my dad. And even sometimes I feel like I don't have the right to do that. Not the point of this episode. And after telling all of that to my mom, I felt light as air. I cannot lie to you. I felt like I could finally breathe for the first time in weeks. And I talked about how angry I became, especially in high school and my early 20s. I was so angry at her. I was angry at my dad when I was younger, and that anger sort of dissipated. I still do get very angry at him. Like, I have a scar on my leg and on my stomach from where he, trigger warning, used to put cigarettes out on me. And my brother has some on his arms. And sometimes when I'm like in the shower or I'm out swimming, I look at that scar a little too long and I get really angry because I was a kid. And I have nieces and nephews now that are the age that I was when I suffered these things or these things happened to me. And I get mad because I was so little. And I can't imagine doing that to a child. This little creature who is so tiny. And I also mean that for like other creatures. Like, I think I've mentioned this. The thought of hitting something with my car, like an animal, I would vomit. I'd be so upset. So like, I can't imagine being that cruel to anything, but especially a tiny little child. So I get mad about that. Or sometimes I just get mad at him because I can. Honestly, I just can. If I think about everything, how the cookie crumbled, the hand I was dealt, if I think about it just long enough, yeah, I'm getting angry. My blood pressure is rising, and then I get ultimately very, very sad. But with my mother, because I was her kid, but she didn't view me as her child, I grew up alarmingly fast. There was there were cool things that happened in my childhood. I've seen pictures of events that we did and things we did. I know that we did cool things, but I don't remember any of them. And I feel robbed by that I don't remember anything. I also get terrified because if my childhood was so bad that I blocked everything out, there's stuff there scary stuff that I don't remember. And I get mad at her for her taste in men and having men around us that made it even worse. And so I talked about that. I talked about how angry I became, and everything was anger. And then I finally went off to college and I could breathe because I wasn't around that anymore. And then when I left school and I moved back home and she was still with this guy, Jesus, who was awful. He was just awful, dude. I have so many mental issues from that individual and traumatic things that occurred from that individual. And it got so bad that I literally tried to die. And I was like, I'm not saying you're the reason, but there are so many factors that had led to that point. And like, I was begging you for help as my mother, and you didn't. And I can't carry the weight of that knowledge for you anymore. Because it's like withering me away. So I have to make you aware of this. Selfishly, I do. Because I'm tired of selflessly carrying it. And I'm sorry if that hurts you. That's not my goal. It's not what I want. But I can't keep doing it. There's a song, I can't remember the song, but I can't carry this anymore. Heavy from the hurt inside my brain. Don't worry, guys. I won't leave you for the voice. That. I can't keep carrying it. I gotta speak about it. And I spoke to friends about it. I spoke to my brother about it. And I'm very grateful. I reached out to 2 friends in particular about it. And they both... Sorry. I'm just so grateful I have people I can reach out to about things like that. Because some really messed up stuff happened. And to know that I have people I can reach out to about it is really important. Because a lot of the time, with what happened with my upbringing, you feel very isolated and very alone. But to hear them talk about me positively in a situation that, or talking about me positively when I'm talking about a situation that made me feel horrendous about myself. Just really grateful. But I talked to them about it and it still weighed on me. And I talked to my brother about it and it still weighed on me. So I finally was like, really, fuck it, we ball. And I just said it to my mom. And I feel a lot better. I feel great, actually. I feel incredible. So sometimes you just need to sit a person down and tell them that they suck. Tell them where they suck. Sometimes that person is you. Sometimes you need to sit across from a mirror and do it. But you gotta do it. Who is it? Was it Emma Watson? She was on a podcast. I can't remember the name of the podcast. I feel so bad about that. And I think it was like, what's the best piece of advice you've ever gotten? Or best thing? Quote. And she quoted someone who I can't remember, but honesty without truth? Truth without honesty is manipulation? Something like that. Sometimes you gotta say the things that can hurt people's feelings. And it's not to hurt them. It's to make them be better. Or in my case, to make me be able to live better. To move on to the next thing. I still feel like a part of me is in my childhood home. And that'll be there forever. And there's a part of my brain where I go back to that home. And I don't want to. Sorry. I think of that Taylor Swift song where help, I'm still at the restaurant. Everybody moved on. I stayed there. I am a walking copyright infringement. These past couple of weeks, I felt like I was back in my childhood home, stuck watching the world keep going on around me, like watching my siblings go off for college and move out. And I don't feel like I'm in that house anymore. So you can say that it was selfish of me to say that. And you know what? Sometimes you get to be selfish. Sometimes you have to be. Not all the time. Sometimes you have to be. To move on. So here's to telling people they suck. Here's to also telling people they're great. I hope that this episode makes you feel like even if you're stuck in that childhood home watching the world go on around you, that there's someone on the other side of the door waiting for you to come on out. And that is really excited to see you. And that person is the you on the other side. Unfortunately, the only way to the other side is through. And whatever you need to do to work through the thing that is weighing on your mind, you gotta do it. In my case, it was telling my mom she sucked. It'll probably come back again. But I'm better equipped now. I know what to do. And that train is all fixed up. It's on to the next station. And I'm waiting for another train to come on in. So hell yeah. Here's to growth. Here's to progress. Here's to the little joys of cinnamon mints. Now that I got that off of my chest, I'm living life lavish. I can enjoy things like sleeping in. Because I wasn't sleeping. Because my mind was plaguing me. And I'm eating cinnamon mints. And I'm going to read a book after this. And I'm going to make a scrumptious little dinner. What? Don't know. Gotta figure it out. Probably chicken nuggets. And I'm going to watch a movie. Because I love to watch movies. And I need to watch something other than Heated Rivalry. And the world's going to keep on turning. But I'm not in that childhood home watching it from the window. I am out in it. And what a joy that is. With that all being said, thank you very much for tuning into this episode. I really appreciate it. I hope that this next week is great for you. And if it's not, know that you are equipped with the tools to get through whatever it is. I also would like to point out that sometimes, I feel like a lot of the time actually, I talk about getting through things. Sometimes things are just too difficult to get through, or you're too exhausted to get through them, so you just need to let them be. Let them be there, a thing, a part of you. Sometimes you put it in a little box and you pack it up and you put it up on a shelf and you're like, later, and that's okay too, because I do that all the time. Does that box on the shelf somehow miraculously fall open and spill everywhere and then is ever-encompassing in your brain? That also does happen, yes. But we cross that bridge when we come to it, you know? You are an incredible human, and this upcoming week is going to be what it may. I have no control over it, and neither do you. So, accept it, be excited about it. If you liked this episode, let me know. If you didn't, let me know gently. Yeah. Follow, like, subscribe. Look in the mirror and say 5 nice things about yourself. Read a book, play a video game. Watch a cool movie. Jam out to some tunes. You've got this. It's going to be all right. I'm really proud of you. I hope you have a great rest of your day and a great week. And I'll talk to you next week. Oh boy, get excited.